Okay, today we are taking a ride on Mokwheel's brand new e-bike called Tarmac. This is brand new from them. It has two sensors, a torque and cadence sensor, so we're gonna go take it for a ride and check it out right now. Oh, I knew it was going to happen eventually. Thanks to Mokwheel for sending out their brand new Tarmac. They have no input other than to help me if I have any questions about anything on the bike during the creation of this review. If you're interested in seeing how I put this bike together, stick around to the end. This is a really easy bike to install. Didn't take much time. So if you're going to get this bike, you might want to check that out. It'll be at the end of this video. The Tarmac comes in 3 colors. Phantom black, pine green, and the one I'm riding today, marine blue. The suggested rider height for this bike is from 5'7" to 6'7", and I can tell you, being 5'7", that at least on the beginning height, they are spot on. If you're shorter than 5'7", you may have a little bit trouble getting on this bike. The payload for this bike is up to 300 pounds. And the bike only weighs 66 pounds, which is very, very light for an e-bike. The Tarmac is powered by a 48-volt, 15-amp-hour battery, which should get you a range up to about 50 to 60 miles. Of course, that's going to depend on things like your riding style, your terrain that you're on, up and down hills, if you're constantly throttling, all that kind of stuff. So keep all that in mind. If you're using throttle only, the Tarmac will get you up to about 20 miles an hour, but if you're pedaling, you should be able to get up to 28 miles per hour. Keep watching because I'm going to go over the display in a little while, and in the display, you do have some control that you can change some of the settings. The motor has a peak power of 920 watts and has 75 newton meters of torque. It feels a little bit more like 85 newton meters of torque to me. Maybe it's because the bike is so light, but it really takes off and gets up there pretty quick. The Tarmac comes with a front fork suspension with 80 millimeters of travel. Okay, so this bike has both a cadence sensor and a torque sensor. Now the benefits of that is that the cadence sensor will help you get moving a little easier than a regular bike would, and the torque sensor will detect how hard you're pedaling to get you that pedal assistance that you need. And it makes for a very smooth and comfortable ride. This bike, you can't tell when it switches, and there's nothing you need to do to switch it, but it makes it really feel like a very high quality bike, and I like it. I think more bike companies should do this. The tires are 29-inch by 2.35-inch tires. So Mokwheel is using textural hydraulic disc brakes with 180 millimeter rotors, which work pretty good. So I'm happy about that. I'm noticing a trend lately. A lot of bike companies have been moving from the standard 7-speed gear shift to 8, and the Tarmac has the Shimano 8-speed derailleur and shifting on this bike too. So I think that's a good way to go. It helps with ghost pedaling, and we should be seeing that on a lot more bikes. And for the throttle, Mokwheel has went with a thumb throttle over on the left side of the handlebar. The saddle is pretty comfortable. If you're picky, you may want to choose a different one, but I think it's just fine. Okay, so now we're going to talk about the lights. The lights are something different on this bike, and I like what they've done with it. The front headlight is integrated, so you don't have to worry about installing one, and it's pretty bright. I'm going to put some pictures up here so you can see what it looks like at night. The cables might get in the way a little bit, so you might want to try to adjust the cable so that they don't get in the way of the headlight. But even if they're in front, the light still seems to cut through okay. So now what's really cool is the brake lights. So this bike has rear brake lights built into the frame of the bike, and they're not only brake lights, they're also turn signals. And in addition to that, up over the brake lights on the rear rack, that too also has a brake light and turn signal that mimics whatever the brake lights and turn are doing down below. What I really like about the rack light is that it looks kind of futuristic. It's not just something that was screwed in and mounted onto the bike. It's truly integrated into the frame of that rear rack and looks really cool. Now, let's talk about the display. Another improvement. It's new and improved with a 2.8-inch LED display, and it's very easy to see at both during the day and at night. So let's go over the display. One of the coolest updates here is that you can now remove it. If you don't put that too tight, you can get under here and squeeze these two buttons together and pull the display off. And when you're ready to go, just tuck this little piece back under here and squeeze it down, and you're ready to go. So let's go ahead and turn it on. Once you see the Mokwheel and the logo, you can let go. So, okay, once it's up, let's go over a few things. There are some settings here. If you hold and press the plus and minus buttons down together at the same time, you'll see this menu here. And on this menu, it's got language, assist level. The rest I wouldn't really mess with, other than maybe factory reset if you mess something up. But to get into the language, if you need to fix the language, press the right arrow button over and pick your language. And then once you have it, you can come back by pressing the left arrow. Now you can go down by pressing this minus button to assist level. Press the right arrow button. And now you have a choice between how many assist levels you want, 3 or 5. I like 5, so I'm going to leave it there. But if I wanted to change it, I press the plus button to go up and then the arrow back, but I'm going to keep it on 5, so I'm going to go down and arrow back. Now to get out of this menu, you just press that left button again, and you're back to the main screen. Now, if you press and hold the two arrow buttons, the left and right turn signal buttons, press and hold those, you get into these other settings, and you can change your screen brightness. Again, you can press the right arrow button, and now you have level 1, 2, 3, and automatic. I have mine on 3. I just like it to be as bright as possible all the time. So I'm going to push the left arrow button to get out of it. Then you can change by going down and arrow right the unit. Kilometers or miles, I have mine set to miles. Get out of it, left arrow. And you can change other things here. Now, again, these are things you probably don't really want to change, but you can. Throttle speed, you can change that. It's set to 20 miles per hour, but you can up that by pressing the up button, and you can switch this to, wherever you want it, how high you want it to throttle to. I think the maximum, it will probably go past 28 on the display, but I don't think the bike really goes past 28, but you can up that. Now, if you want to keep it all legal and everything, you're going to want to leave it here. Arrow left, and then you can go to assist speed. Same kind of thing here, arrow right, and you can set each level to different speeds. So like pedal assist 1, if I go over, by default it's at 10 miles per hour. The next one, pedal assist 2, 15, and so on. So you can change that if you like. So again, if you want to go to the 3 levels, you might want to change it to be a little bit more drastic. But I'm going to leave this alone. Arrow left to get out of it. And let's see, we're going to scroll down again to intensity setting. And that's not something that I'm going to change, but mine is set to 3. You can go 4 or 5. I think that's just kind of like, I'm not positive, but I think that's just for like when you take off with the throttle, how fast it's going to go, how fast it's going to get to that top speed. 3 for me is perfect, so I'm just going to leave it there. Scroll down again. You've got riding modes, pedal only, so the throttle doesn't work, motor only, and which is just throttle, and then you got pedal and motor, and I'm leaving it there. That's how it was by default. I like that. So, and I think that's it. No, there's a startup mode. Okay, startup mode. Let's see what that's about. Oh, free mode and safe mode. Free mode, you can pedal or throttle from a dead stop and both will work. If you go down to safe mode, it will only, the throttle will only work after you take off. So I'm going to leave mine on free mode. Get out of it with the left button. And you can check the bike for defects, reset your trip, check the version in case there's an update that you find out about that you want to perform on this. And then left arrow back out to the main screen where you have your battery level, what pedal assist you're in. I'm going to go up 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Go back down and back to 0. You got your speed, miles per hour, and then you got the time that it's been on and the trip for your ride. So a lot of good information. I love the display. I think you're going to like this too. Don't forget, when you stop somewhere, remove the display, and that'll keep your bike safe from people. It'll deter people from stealing it because they won't be able to ride it as an electric bike. Now, that's not a big help in completely stopping them from wanting to steal your bike, but it's a good thing to deter. So take this off, chain your bike up, and you should be good. One more thing I want to show you over here with the controller. If the bike is on and you press and hold the plus button, the front headlight will turn on and off. So let's get that off. And I'm not going to do it, but there's a little symbol here. It looks like somebody's walking a bike. If you press and hold the minus button and you're walking your bike, say like up a hill, and you want some assistance, but you don't feel like riding it, you can just walk it, press and hold this, and the bike will move itself forward. So kind of nice to have. So I really like the Tarmac from Mokwheel. The combination of the front air shock along with the Cadence and torque sensors working together gives you a really smooth and comfortable ride. Also, with all the new updates like the rear rack and the brake lights integrated into that rear rack, along with this display and being able to remove it, I'm really happy with everything they've done on the new Tarmac. Hey, I almost forgot. I wanted to mention that the stem on this bike, on the handlebar, you can adjust. You don't have to sit over the bike like this to ride it. If you're somebody that likes to sit up straight, you can adjust the stem upright, and then that'll get you sitting up a little higher. So it's another plus. A lot of bikes don't come with that. I'm happy that Mokwheel seems to do that quite often on their bike. So if you like that kind of a stem, it comes with the bike. Okay, Mokwheel has done it again with the Tarmac. This is a brand new bike that they put out. It hits a lot of the boxes, checks everything off that I like. Front suspension with an air shock, detachable display, looks great. You can take it with you, rendering the bike as an electric bike useless. The rear rack with brake lights and turn signals integrated right into it. Colors look good. Everything about it's nice. Brakes work great. If this checks all the boxes for you, check out my links down below. Sometimes those links have discounts embedded in them, and other times I'll just I'll display a code next to the link if I have one available for a discount. Grab yourself one, get out there and ride, and I will see you on the next one. Oh, and keep watching if you want to see how this bike is assembled. That's coming up next. I decided to use this bike stand to install everything on the bike. It'll make things a little easier since I am alone out here. This bike isn't too heavy, so I should be able to just lift it up. So one of the first things you're going to have to do here is you're going to have to loosen this by these two screws. There's one on each side. Loosen the stem. The forks are already in the right position. I'll go ahead and show that to you. Bring the camera down. You can see the bottom. The brake pads are facing inwards, which is correct. We'll be removing this bar when we install the tire, and we'll be removing this piece of plastic here from the brake pads later. But for now, we need to align the handlebar stem with the front fork. So what you're going to want to do is loosen these. I've already done it. Then you're going to want to hold onto the forks and turn it forward. Kind of line it up. You can do a better job later once the tire is in and you're sitting on the bike, but line it up the best you can. Tighten these two back down, and then we'll move on to the handlebar. Okay, once you have everything lined up and tightened back down on the stem, you're going to want to remove this plate. I've already got it started, took 2 of them off already, 2 of the bolts. So you're going to take that, place the handlebar in. So I'm going to go ahead and start this. I'm going to leave it really loose so I can move things around and then align and tighten it up a little bit later. So go ahead and get all those in, tighten it down, and at the very end, if you need to, you can readjust the bike a little bit later with the handlebars. I like my brake levers to face down a little bit, so I'll probably tighten mine up right there. Quick tip, make sure when you're tightening that you don't just tighten one in all the way. You won't be able to distribute the tightening of the plate evenly if you do that, so you might want to go crisscross, like do a little bit here, go down to the lower right, and go across. Feel a little tension there, go up to the top right. So diagonally and then across. So just keep doing that and get it all nice and tight. One more thing you want to do at the very end is get this piece here. This is a cap that goes on top of the stem here. There's a hole. You can just plug that up to keep water and stuff from getting inside of it. Now, one cool thing about these handlebars that Mokwheel gives you is that you can loosen the stems in case you don't want to hunch over too much on the bike, and you can raise it up. So these are nice and adjustable. I like that Mokwheel includes this kind of a stem with the bike. So next I was going to install the display when I noticed after I picked it up here that there is no display on it. What they've done, and I like this, is Mokwheel has now included the display sort of like an extra module that you line up these pins, and there's these squeeze buttons here so that you can release it and take it. You can remove it off if you need to. This is really nice. So if something goes wrong with the display, you can order just this piece again, or if you get off the bike and you don't want anybody messing with your bike, you can remove this piece right here and take it with you. This is kind of a neat idea. I wish all bike companies were doing this. So let's get the display mounted. So this is also another improvement. These here, you just unscrew these mount points here, and the arms will open up and then fit around the handlebar, where in the past it was plastic that you kind of had to force around the handlebar, and sometimes the connection points would break. Even if you didn't tighten them up too much, sometimes after a ride the plastic parts would break, and that could create a problem. So I'm going to go ahead and unscrew these, and I'm going to show you how the arms fit around the handlebar. Okay, so I've got the screws loose. I'm going to take the screws out and hold them in my hand there so I can open the arms up, place it right here over the handlebar, and then tighten it back down. So that's a really neat. I like this kind of mount way better than the old mount. I don't see this one breaking like the old ones did. So I'm going to go ahead and tighten that down. I found that to get it started, it's a little easier to fasten it up here so that you can tighten it down just a little bit. Now keep in mind, these are still plastic points here of connection, so you don't want to over tighten. Just tighten it enough so that you can still move it around, get it where you want it, and then tighten it down snug, but don't over tighten. These things do break, so be very careful with that. This one could probably go just a little bit tighter, and I will leave it right where it's at. For the display, you want to leave this a little bit loose, this plate, not too loose, but just a little bit, so that you can fit this together. These points, contact points, need to touch, so you're going to slide this little piece here under that little part right there, and then these two clips are going to go right down in here. So you're going to fit that under there and just snap it on. Once it's on, it won't come off until you go under here and squeeze these two pieces right here and pop it off. And that's it. If you're working alone, you're really going to want to install the kickstand before you install the front tire and rim. So go ahead and start it by just placing it there and finger tightening it. Get the other screw going, tighten them both down real good. And then you can move on to the front tire and rim, because once you get that on, the front tire, you're going to want to set the bike or let it go, and you don't want it to fall over. So good thing is to have the kickstand already installed. Okay, let's prepare for the front tire install. This bar here you could probably just hand loosen and remove. If not, there is an Allen key that you can fit into it to loosen it, and then take it off by hand afterwards. Don't forget to remove this piece here, this tab. This plastic tab needs to come out from the brake pads, because your rotor is going to fit into that, or your front brake disc. So let's go ahead and get that part installed. Okay, make sure you fit that brake disc right there between the brake pads, and then slide the rim up between the forks there. Once you get them in there, take that bar that you took out, put it back through, and then once you get that, go ahead and tighten that down, and your front rim should be completely installed. This is where you'll probably need 2 of these wrenches to tighten it up. One to hold on the back side, and then this side to screw it in. Okay, to install the front fender, first we're going to remove this screw. I've already loosened it to get it started. Take your fender, lay it on the tire there, and then take that screw that you just had and place it through the fender into the hole. That's right, a hole there on the fork, and get it started. You don't really need to tighten it down just yet, because once you do the next step, you're going to probably want to raise this up a little bit so it's not resting on the tire. So let's move on to the next part. Okay, for the next step, you're going to install these lower arms here. So I'm going to remove these screws here. Make sure you don't drop the washer. And then line this up, this arm, put the screw back in, get it going. And then once you do that, do the same thing on the other side, and take note that right here, you can also loosen this if you need to, so that you can raise the fender again off the tire. So you want to make sure everything is off the tire, lined up, and then tightened down. And the front fender is done. The rear rack is really easy to install. All you have to do is remove this screw here from the rear fender, then line it all up and tighten it all down. You just slide it over like so. Line everything back up and screw it back in. So once you get that done, I'll show you how to make adjustments to the rack. There are 2 screws on this rear rack. You could just loosen them up. You don't have to remove them. And then once you get them loose, you can now slide the rack wherever you want to make sure it's nice and flat. So make sure your bike is flat on the ground and line it all up and tighten it back down. There's also another nut right here that you can loosen, and that way you can drag it along that piece of metal there if you need a little bit more space to adjust. And finally, down below right here, you would want to make sure to tighten this up a little bit once you get everything in place. And that should do it. Okay, moving on to the pedals. There is a right pedal and a left pedal, so make sure you put the right one on the right side and the left one on the left side. I'm going to go ahead and do the right side first. The right side is important that you go clockwise. The left side goes counterclockwise. So I'm going to go ahead and get this one on here nice and tight, and then I'm going to move over to the other side. But just tighten them both down. Make sure you don't forget to tighten up the left side counterclockwise, and you should be good to go. Now that you have everything assembled, make sure that you put your seat in, tighten it down, check the air pressure in your tires, make sure the battery's fully charged, align everything, make sure everything's nice and tight. If you want to get one of these, links are down below. Doesn't cost you anything to use them. Helps the channel out. Grab yourself one, get out there and ride, and I'll see you on the next one.